So they're over here, they got this stuff drying out. 这个是什么？萝卜。Oh, so we got radishes drying. 这个呢？ Oh yeah, sure. Oh, another type of radish. Drying them out. And you can see she... 哎，你好。哎，你好。很多人在这儿就在江里就洗东西，对吧？啊，我在网上查了，他们写的是这样，是老风格的，有意思。我觉得挺有意思的。挺有意思。I just found the most interesting gate to a community that I've ever seen in China. In China, they live in gated communities in the cities. Like, think of like a living compound. So this one, you know, we're on the canal. You come up, you got a bridge, and then you've got the gate right here. No, not like it would be that hard to get around. You know, I could easily just step on this wall and get down, but it is an interesting visual just to put a gate right here. That's wild. Well, that was interesting. I just had a guy come up to me that looked a little bit, maybe a little bit slow. And his English was pretty good, but you could tell he was a little bit unique. Let's just say that. And he asked me where I'm from. I told him, and then he asked me what food I like in English, and I told him. And I asked him what food he likes. He said fish. I was like, oh, okay. And then he asked me. He just said, lucky number. I said, well, 3 or 7. And he said, unlucky number? Unlucky number? And I said, well, that would have to be 6, especially 3 consecutive 6s. In China, 8 is a lucky number, and 3 6s together is a common saying. It means like cool or great. So it's, a lot of things are opposite. So he probably thought it was strange that I chose those numbers, but that's just the way it is. And I'm telling you, like, I could spend all day here. That's how much I like this place. Well, this is interesting. Just next to the canals, we've got I could see it. I could read the characters. Nothing. Just looking. Thank you, though. I saw a tattoo shop there. Another guy's now asking me where I'm from. So yeah, not exactly what you'd expect to see here. A tattoo shop, tattoo parlor. You could see I was interrupted there, which is okay. I don't mind if people interrupt me. And it was another guy that's definitely a little bit on the unique side, and he asked me where I'm from, and I told him. And then he told me, oh, the president of America is Yusef Biden. And I said, yes, that is correct, Yusef Biden. And then I just kind of played dumb, because I don't want to, since I'm here in China, you know, we can't really talk about too many Chinese political things. I mean, we can say some basic stuff, but it's best to leave this topic alone. 哎，你好。你好。现在可以吃这个吗？不是每天不要买啊，还没有杀鸡。哦。啊，鸡那么叫好吃的。哦。这个还得多久才可以吃啊？起码1把。哦。1星期。嗯。哦，看应该也挺好吃的，也健康。嗯。好。哎，下次这。And since in China, politics is something that you generally want to avoid talking about. So when they start talking to me about American politics, I'm like, nah, I don't really want to go there, you know, and answer all these questions about what's happening in America politically. So I just kind of played dumb, and I said, also, he just told me, you know, Yusef Biden is the president of America. I said, so who's the president of China? And I played dumb, and I said, is it Hu Jintao, who's the former leader of China? He said, no, it is Xi Jinping. I was like, oh. And then I asked him who he likes better. And of course, he likes Xi better. And he said that Xi is just great and wonderful. So I didn't want to record that, though, because, you know, I didn't want to stick a camera in the guy's face. So like I was saying earlier, in planning for this trip, I did look at a couple videos of Shaoxing just to see what was available out there. And they were well put together pieces, but they were just kind of like a Westerner talking about this historical figure here in this city and this famous person, that famous person. You know, calligraphy was taught here. This guy was a great writer. Talking about all the various temples. And it was kind of like a point by point on the highlights of the city. And I think the videos they made were well done and they served their purpose. They did what they set out to do. But this video is not for that. This video is to experience Shaoxing. And this is just one part. This is obviously the old quarter. which to me is going to be the best quarter, the best area, and show you guys what it's really like. This isn't going to be a play-by-play of the history of Shaoxing or, you know, the historical figures that came from here. Some of the... Hey, 你好. 今天的晚餐. 哦，新鲜的。行。But what I like to do in my videos is show what the city's actually like. You know, I mean, you can go on Wikipedia and get the history of this place. That's not that hard to do. But I want you to see the locals. I want you to see what it really looks like. And I want you to feel like you're here. Because I know a lot of people will never get the chance to come here. And so that's why we do these strolls. Before I started traveling, I watched a lot of travel documentaries, and I loved them. I really liked Michael Palin's travel documentaries. They were great. And there was also a female author. She wrote the book Hitchhiking Vietnam. That was like the first actual travel book that I read. Karen something, I forgot. I'll put a picture of that book. She was a great writer. I really enjoyed her travel work, and I felt like I was there experiencing it just through their books. Or Michael Palin, he did books and documentaries, like video documentaries. And I want you all to kind of have the same feeling. You know, to feel like even though you maybe haven't been here, well, after you watch the video, you will know what it's like. I know I could do that to her, but hey, 你好. How are you? And I'll tell you all, if this was a prime tourist peak season, I wouldn't be here right now. Because I wouldn't want to be here if the streets were filled with tourists. I specifically try to avoid things like that. But right now, this is the best time to be here. Basically no travelers. You can really feel what it's like. Because I mean, this place is legit. It's not like a cheap fake replica. This is the real deal. But when it's loaded with tourists, like going to the Great Wall, you can look online and see some of these pictures of groups that go to the Great Wall during peak travel seasons. It's a nightmare. You couldn't pay me to go there. And I wouldn't want to be here during the same kind of time either. But lucky for me, I'm here in a downtime where there's virtually no tourists. And I absolutely love it. Can you imagine driving back here? It would be interesting to say the least. I'll just see this narrow little sidewalk slash alleyway slash hutong. Don't know what exactly we'd call this, but it looks interesting. So we're gonna go for a little stroll. I'll be honest, I'm already sort of lost. I couldn't find the place where I started, but it won't be that hard to find. Anyhow. This is pretty cool though. Definitely wouldn't see this back at home. Bunch of little, wonder if those are individual residences there. You see back, you can see the modern city in the background. I'll give you one of the closest looks of these old tile rooftops that you'll ever see. I'm leaning over this bridge. I'm right by it. More drying meats there. Some big strips of pork, and then that little one there, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's got a tail. Is it a rat? I really don't know. Just one after the other. All these little shops, little restaurants, little cafes, little convenience stores. A happy young couple. 你们好.
Hello.
你们是兄弟姐妹吗？
No.
哦，同学。哦，classmates。哇，英文说太好了，厉害。 You're welcome. So over here you've got the, you know, the homes or the shops, and then when you come out, you're right here at the water. You know, and the old folks out here washing their clothes. You can just go down these stairs and there you are. And if you need some transportation, just hop in a little gondola, is that what you call it? Or a little kayak looking thing, and you're ready to roll. We are now leaving the Baziqiao area. Regrettably, I don't want to leave. We've got an exercise area over here with fish hanging up to dry. That's interesting. Wow, I gotta check that out. But yeah, we're leaving this area. Hey, there's Mr. C checking out this exercise area. They got the clothes drying there, and the fish. Those are some massive fish. What are those, carp? Those are huge. 你好.
你好.
Different kind of exercise area for sure. But yeah, I don't want to leave this area. I could spend a whole day here. I love it out here. But I am on limited time, and we've got more ground to cover, guys. Now, if you know anything about Chinese history, you'll definitely know who Zhou Enlai is, or was. His ancestral home is here. Well, I'm not going to go there, but it is worth noting that his home, I believe his parents were from here. Well, I think I accidentally stumbled upon the Zhou Enlai ancestral home or museum or whatever this is, because you can see the statue over there. I'm not gonna go in and spend time here, but did want to show you guys, because this would be a place that a lot of tourists come to visit, but I'm not here for this purpose. This isn't of great interest to me. And there's a sign. You know, this place is selling it says Shaoxing Wine. So this place is selling it, and when you look in here, hey, ni hao, they have a lot of different local, the true Shaoxing wine. Oh, there's those beans that I bought earlier. I bought some of those. Don't know what that is. Here's a restaurant that I was just walking past, and they specialize in local dishes. Actually, I had that in Hangzhou. We've got a few more over here. Well, in our quest to go to Cangqiao Street, we're on this street. Labor Road is what it's called. Literally. Got these old buildings, these old tile rooftops. It looks cool. This is not even specifically like a tourist zone. It's just the old district, the old quarter, still standing. And I'm glad it still stands, because China has torn down so many of these kind of areas, which to me is really, really sad. But I'm glad this one still exists. I found a cool little noodle place over there, the old Hangzhou noodle shop. I'm gonna go check that out. But first, this place says they're from the Northeast. 你好，这儿有东北串吗？
就是东北串呀。
你来自东北什么地方？
我东北辽宁的。
哦，辽宁。
辽宁。
But this little tiny noodle joint right here, you can see it's totally packed, no open tables. So, but they do have an upstairs. That's a tiny little narrow stairway that goes up. Look at the stairway. Wow, this is really narrow. Just curious. I'm not sure I'm going to sit up here. I'm going to sit downstairs with all the people, but they do have more seating up here. Oh, this is a place you could easily die, or at least break your neck. See, again, I'm tucked in here with a complete stranger, and this place is, you know, obviously very small, but this is where you'll get a lot of the best food in these really small restaurants. You know, you look for the place where all the locals go, and you're gonna get a more authentic experience, and the food's gonna be fresh because it's being fresh cooked. You know, there's a quick, it's turning over quickly. It's not just sitting there, you know, rotting and then spoiling. It's staying nice and fresh. So yesterday in Hangzhou, I had noodles with soup. And today I decided to get something called this ban mian, where it's the steamed noodles, and on top they put a bunch of stuff and you mix it all up. I've got beef here, I've got different vegetables, I've got dried tofu strips, and a fried egg. Well, those noodles were good, and that was quite an intimate noodle eating experience. I got to talking to some of the locals, and they were extremely friendly. But check this out. Just on my way to the next stop, and I saw this tower. I don't know which tower this is. If I can find it, I'll write it here on the screen. But that's kind of a cool thing just to stumble into. Hey guys, it looks like the German Radio Orchestra was just in town. The Shaoxing Grand Theater. You can see a list of the acts they've had over there. A lot of classical music and composer type stuff. I did see the Nutcracker. This is a pretty cool panorama. Over here you've got the Shaoxing Grand Theater. And you got this big square. You got the tower over there. This big pyramid looking It says it's called In 30 Degree Coffee, whatever that's all about. And then just this big wide open view. Now we're pretty much at the next stop. It's going to be an old walking road, an old pedestrian road. But looks like before that we see this wicked park. I mean, this place is fantastic. Just look at this. I didn't know this would be here. I had no idea. I just walked into it. It is beautiful though. Now here's another tourist area, but the reason I'm interested in this, because it's an old street. It's an old pedestrian street. Cangqiao Street. So it's gonna have that old style atmosphere. And the thing is, it actually is an old street. It's not a replica. Hello. Now here's some hometown pride for you. It's not in God we trust, it's in yellow wine we trust. And this is where it begins. I told you, this is not like some replica. Now it has been turned into a tourist area, but it's not surprising that this would attract a lot of tourists because it's an awesome place. And I'm here at a complete downtime. Like, if this was peak season, I imagine it would be packed with mostly Chinese tourists. I don't think you'd see a whole lot of Westerners here, but still it would be packed nonetheless. And I wouldn't be here at that time, but I kind of feel like I've almost got this whole place to myself, which is just fantastic. There's these sausages I keep seeing everywhere. Hey, 你好. More of this. Different meats. Just because you're on an ancient road, don't think you're not being watched. Because, oh buddy, you're being watched. But I'll tell you, one of the foods around here that's very, very well known and popular is stinky tofu. 这是臭豆腐是吧？我问到了。这个好吃吗？我们这里的正宗的。啊，我可能一会儿。像飞一样。一会儿我可能会过来买一会儿。哎，你好。Hello, 朋友们好。Some very happy girls and a handsome guy. Well, I found a gentleman here that's selling the local Shaoxing wine, and he was nice enough to give me a sample, so I'm gonna try it. I decided to go ahead and get one of these bottles of the local because this gentleman here, he was kind enough to let me try some, and this stuff has been aging for 10 years, and this is a really nice guy, and I want to support him. And again, they're selling these beans that I've already bought some. Now we've seen a lot of duck, we've seen a lot of pork, we've seen a lot of fish, but this is the first time I've just seen a pig's hoof out here air drying. That's interesting. Imagine just taking a bite out of that. Hello. Hello. It really does seem like no matter where you go in this city of Shaoxing, there's always a canal right there. Like, I love it. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the people here have been so friendly to me. They've been really nice. A lot of smiles, a lot of greetings. And when I've said hello to people, they've always responded very well. And surprisingly enough, I had a few people ask me where I'm from. I said, I'm from America. And nobody had any negative comment to say, which is quite rare in China. When I'm up in the Northeast and I tell people I'm from the US, they always have something to say. Sometimes they pause and it's like they're thinking of what they need to say. After I tell them I'm from America, it's like they can't just say, oh, okay. They've always got to say something. And sometimes it's, oh, America is so dangerous. Or sometimes they kind of go silent and think for a second, and then they'll say, oh, America, oh, strong country, good economy, or something like that. But here, when people have asked me where I'm from, I said I'm from America. They just said, oh, okay, cool. You know, it was very friendly and pleasant. So while I'm waiting on my ride to come pick me up, I figured now's as good a time as any to sip on some of this good old Shaoxing wine from the old gentleman that sold it to me. So cheers, everybody. If you're watching this video, this cheers goes out to you, and I hope you're enjoying it, and thanks for your support. So here we go. Here's a toast to you guys. Not too shabby. Kind of sweet, kind of syrupy. Definitely got that Hangzhou kind of flavor. And since I'm drinking the Shaoxing wine, I've got to have some of these aniseed flavored beans to go with it, because that's how you're supposed to do it, right? So I'm gonna taste these. I hope they don't have that licorice kind of taste, because I hate licorice. So here it is, the big green bean. No, it doesn't smell bad. Let's see how it tastes. Kind of hard to eat. Kind of hard to bite into. Kind of chewy. It's good. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. None of that kind of weird licorice flavor that it might have. Not at all. Well, just like that, our trip to Shaoxing is pretty much over. I'm back here at the train station on the walkway. Just had a great conversation with my driver. He's a local guy and such a nice and cool guy. This city is fantastic. It really is beautiful, and I only scratched the surface. I mean, I went to some pretty famous spots, but there's a whole lot more to the city than I even saw. So we'll see what's going on at the station. I'm gonna probably have to wait for a while, wait for the train. So while I'm there, I can sit there and maybe sip on a little Shaoxing wine and some of those aniseed infused beans, which sounds terrible, but they're not actually that bad. Well, unfortunately, I know they're not gonna let me bring my Shaoxing wine through here. So I'm gonna have to take one last big drink because they're not gonna let me take it. I know, they won't let me take it. Some Chinese guy, he was young. He was a clean cut, handsome looking dude. Looked like he was the type of guy that was probably well educated. He heard me saying in English that they're not gonna let me take my Shaoxing wine. They're not gonna let me bring it in. And he started telling me, he said, oh, they'll let you bring it. I was like, really? And at first I got through the x-ray area, but then they realized what I had and they made me throw it away. So at first he thought he was right. I thought he was right. And then he saw what happened and he even thought he was more right. But finally he walked away, and what he doesn't know is he was actually wrong, which is, it's just funny. Here we are inside the Shaoxing North Station. And as you can see, it's only a fraction of the size of the Hangzhou East Station that we were at earlier. Before we conclude this video on what has been an amazing day, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, Shaoxing is known for its calligraphy and famous calligraphers and famous writers. There's Lu Xun, who's he's basically the Shakespeare of China. He's from Shaoxing. The list goes on and on. You know, you can easily find that information online, but all I wanted to do was show you Shaoxing for what it really is. I came here with pretty low expectations. I mean, I thought it was gonna look kind of nice. Thought there were gonna be some cool canals and some cool old streets, but actually being there, especially in a non-tourist time, it was amazing. And it far exceeded my expectations. And then on top of that, my interactions with the locals, with how polite they were to me, their friendliness, their willingness to talk to me. There wasn't one comment when I said I'm from America. There wasn't one reaction. It's just like, oh, okay. Which is the way it should be. You know, that's called being polite. You know, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's like if I'm in America, if I met somebody from, I don't know, I mean, people here have a very unrealistic interpretation or perception of what America is. But just imagine if you were in America and you met someone from North Korea. If the first thing you said to them was, oh wow, that's a really scary place, well, you would be an asshole, because you shouldn't say that. If you met someone who happened to be from North Korea, you should say, oh wow, I've never been there. Well, really nice to meet you. And that's the end of it. And that's how people here in Shaoxing have been to me, and it has been fantastic. If you enjoyed it, I just ask that you subscribe to the channel, hit the video with a thumbs up, drop me a comment in the comment section below, because just by doing these simple actions, you actually help my channel out a lot, because it signals to the YouTube algorithm that people are interacting with it and they like it, they enjoy it, they're watching it, they're interacting with it. It will help expand its reach to more people. So just those simple actions help a lot. And if you would like to go the extra mile in supporting what I do, please feel free to check me out on patreon.com. I would sure appreciate it. So thanks again, you guys. Hope 2024 is starting off on the right foot for everybody. We'll catch you all in the next video. 下次再见。